To one and all, SVKM CNM School extends a heartfelt welcome to our esteemed trustee, members of management, principal, vice principal, teachers, parents, and students. Before we embark on today's program, I, Arjun Basu from ISC,
and I, Jania Chadda from ISC,
welcome each and every one of you to this special event, TEDx here at CNMS.
A gentle reminder to everyone assembled here to put their phones on silent mode to avoid disturbance. Eating and drinking in the auditorium is prohibited. Kindly refrain from moving about in the auditorium during the course of the event. A 10-minute break will be provided for the audience wherein you can enjoy refreshments outside the auditorium.
To make this evening a blessed one, let us invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha, the God of knowledge and wisdom, by kindling the lamp to help us guide us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge.
We are honored to invite Shri Kirit Bhai Mehta, our Vice Principal, Ms. Aditi Vazandar, and our ISC Coordinator, Ms. Ashwini Puntambekar, to kindle the flame of enlightenment and officially inaugurate the event.
As the lamp is lit, may its radiance touch each one of you, igniting in you the immortal flame of knowledge and understanding.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
Dance has been used as an expression of worship and celebration since ancient times. Today, we are privileged to witness a spiritual dance performance by the students of CNM School, where the graceful movements of the dancers beautifully intertwine with the language of faith.
जो है अलबेला मद नैनो वाला जिसकी दीवानी ब्रिज की हर बाला वो किसना है वो किसना है वो किसना है वो किसना है किसना है जो है अलबेला मद नैनो वाला जिसकी दीवानी ब्रिज की हर बाला वो किसना है वो किसना है वो किसना है किसना है किसना है वो किसना है वो किसना है किसना
We now present the welcome speech by our principal, Miss Kavita Sangvi.
On behalf of our President Shri Amrish Bhai Patel, Joint President Shri Bhupesh Bhai Patel, and School in Charge Miss Neha Parekh, I welcome you all to our TEDx event. A warm welcome to all the principals, teachers, and students. TEDx Youth is an event organized by or catered towards young people. The purpose of organizing it at CNM School is to give our students wings to fly. This event, open to youth, allows them to put forth ideas that can change the future. It also allows us to glimpse into their thinking pattern and understand why they do what they do. The theme at CNM School is to bridge the gap with respect to social media and consumerism. This event will be a learning platform for all of you through the wealth of knowledge presented and shared by the presenters. Let us use this platform to bridge the gap between the adult and the world of youth. Also, gratitude to my team of teachers and IC students and my vice principal who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring forth this magnanimous program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for inspiring words. We at CNMS are honored to host the TEDx event. TEDx is a platform that empowers visionaries to show their groundbreaking ideas, thought-provoking concepts, and creative opinions. This event focuses on the youth. This event has been organized by CNM ISC students. The theme of our students and of the event is bridging the gap, which means connecting people through diverse thinking.
Let's look at the TEDx rules that the speakers need to follow while delivering their thoughts on the topic. Each speaker needs to speak for 10 to 12 minutes. Avoid political, pseudoscience, religious, or commercial talks presentations from the TEDx stage.
May I introduce the first speaker of the day, Miss Litisha Bagadia. She will speak on a topic, Consumerism Unveiled, Decoding Marketing Strategies, Targeting the Young Generation, and its Impact on the Youth. Litisha is a 12th grade student from CNM School who is a passionate environmentalist, entrepreneur, tutor, and a visionary. In 2021, she started the AICA Foundation, an NGO to mobilize youth energy in climate action. In June 2023, she was awarded the prestigious Diana Award in memory of Princess Diana, supported by the royal family for her environmental work. It is the highest award in the world for youth social work. She was also awarded the Social Reformer of the Year award by Cabinet Minister Piyush Goyal at Nav Bharat Times Utsav. Over to you, Ms. Litisha.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. Hi everyone, I'm going to start with a small story. So Ria, a girl from Puducherry, reached out to me a couple of days back saying she wanted to start her own little climate action movement in Puducherry. But she was unsure where to start and wanted my help. I got on a call with her and her story was heartwarming. She was a part of the first graduating class of her college and she wanted to clean the beaches of Puducherry. But she had trouble gathering volunteers, establishing longevity, getting her college's support, and so on. We tried to figure out some local solutions in Puducherry, like establishing an NSS unit at her college, or say incentivizing volunteers, or establishing partnerships with waste management companies, collaborating with the local administration in Puducherry. Now, while discussing all of this, I asked her how she came across me and what prompted her reach out to me specifically. She said that she came across a reel on my foundation, Aika's Instagram page, where we were discussing the problems we faced while organizing a beach cleanup here in Mumbai. She said she found relatability in our problems, and hence I seemed approachable, and she decided to reach out. Now, discussing our problems not only helped me further the chain of youth climate activists, which is exactly my mission through AICA, but it also helped me realize one very key marketing principle targeting the youth: relatability in vulnerability. The youth today cares about brands being authentic instead of them portraying this unattainable version of themselves that focuses on all the good, leaving out all the human struggles that go behind building their brand. And you know, it's not just talking about your struggles. If you want your brand to stand out among these 15 to 24-year-olds, you need to realize that young people today care about social issues like racism, economic disparity, body shaming, and homophobia. If we see your brand taking active steps to combat such social issues, then your brand is more likely to appeal to us. Say you have racially diverse models. Some of your brand ambassadors are from the LGBTQ community. And your products have a wide appeal across the socio-economic spectrum. Then I am 2 times more likely to buy a product from you as compared to your contemporary, because your values resonate with mine. And mind you, it's not just pretending to care about, such and more social issues. We young people can see through phony very easily. Today, Gen Z in particular is confident but insecure of their shortcomings. So, it is good to know that the brands whose products populate our homes don't just endorse it for perfect people, rather for imperfect people like you and me. Today, marketing is vulnerability. And I think this is even more important as we move towards a world dominated by artificial intelligence and robots. Now, I remember doing this internship at a company, and the product manager of that company was my internship manager too. I made a business pitch for the company, and she plainly rejected it, saying, "Litisha, while buying our products, the customers are not looking to form a company-to-human connection. They are looking to form a human-to-human connection. So, instead of selling our products and services, why don't you sell our team's relationship with clients and how we work with them end-to-end to solve their problems even after delivering their product?" I think this is so important, and it has stayed with me since then, and something brands often forget in their marketing strategies. We young people today have access to tons of robotic mediums of communication in our day-to-day life, be it automated emails and messages, self-serving technology like facial scanners, and whatnot. I don't need my favorite brand to be devoid of human connection too. Now, what can you do to build this human-to-human connection? Firstly, try to take some innovative approaches specific to your brand and realize that it takes some time. Say, you as a founder can revolutionize your company's perception by the audience by becoming a brand ambassador yourself. Get on some social media platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter and create a personal brand around your work. Say, by talking about your day-to-day struggles, your experiences meeting new people, or even unique work culture trends at your organization. The youth wants to hear it all, and they'll form a connection with you, a human behind this humongous brand. Now, this reminds me of another anecdote. So, at IAICA, my non-profit, we not only wanted to host climate action activities and animal care drives, but we also wanted to develop a conscience among young people to want to continue such activities on their own, even without us. So, while brainstorming back then, one thing was super clear. Young people were not going to continually engage in something that's not appealing to them. And that's not fun. So, back then, the FIFA World Cup was around the corner. So we thought, why not host a football tournament fundraiser where teams of young people would compete, and at the same time, they'd raise money that we'd later donate for the healing of dogs. And guess what? The intersection of fun and animal care, which we named Football for Fur, blew up. We received more registrations than we could take. And it was our biggest event so far. So, what worked? Number one, young people were doing something they absolutely love doing. But at the same time, they were working for a cause. And number two, the buzz around the 2022 FIFA World Cup was huge that time. So we acted fast on that. I think being dynamic in your marketing is the easiest way to reach young people. And this has proven true time and again. Now, we wanted to spread education about the environment as well. And by education, I mean effective education. Educating people about actionable to-dos that they can take in their day-to-day life to, say, combat environmental issues and, promote animal care. Now, one of our only ways of reaching millions of people was to talk about it on social media, right? So we were making a lot of educational content since early on. But, the sad part about it was that we were not receiving enough views for the amount of efforts that we were putting in, right? The views were restricted at a mere 500 to 1,000 views per Instagram post. So after, consistent brainstorming and a lot of experimenting, one reel went viral. 100 new likes every minute. 5 new followers every 2 minutes. Now, this was obviously every marketeer's dream come true. But it was also time for me to go back to the drawing board with my team and figure out why this worked. Again, the answer was twofold. A, the viral reel was on a very popular Instagram audio. And for anyone who is unaware, audio trends on Instagram change very frequently, even once in 2 weeks. So we hopped onto the trend while it was still popular. And B, the setting of the shooting of the reel was natural. It was a random street, and there was no effort to alter it or beautify it from our end. In fact, the video itself was a raw shot. It was not edited at all. Again, dynamic marketing that was relatable and vulnerable. In fact, our social media head, who ideated that piece of content, herself spends 1 to 2 hours every day consuming content on social media. So, to all the parents out there, maybe your children spending some time on Instagram might not be that bad of a thing after all. Now, if there's one thing I want you to remember from this talk, it would be to be effortlessly vulnerable in your marketing and be dynamic and fast in your approach. So, if your marketing inspires more Riyas to build up the courage to reach out to you, your marketing has done its job on the youth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Latisha, for expressing your thoughts on consumerism and human-to-human connection. May we have a huge round of applause for Ms. Latisha Bagadia.
I would now like to introduce our second speaker of the day, Ms. Ananya Patwardhan. Ananya is an alumna of CNM School. She was the head girl of the school and also secured All India Rank 1 in the Class 10 ICSE board examinations. She pursued the BA LLB honors degree from the National Law School of India University, Bangalore, and graduated in 2022. She was selected as an Aditya Birla Scholar and retained her scholarship for the entirety of her undergraduate degree. In law school, she actively participated in co-curricular and extracurricular activities and represented her university at several national and international negotiation and mediation competitions. Ananya is currently working as a qualified advocate at a reputed law firm in Mumbai in its dispute resolutions practice. She is trained in Hindustani classical music and enjoys learning languages. She will enlighten us on the topic, Navigating the Digital Landscape, the impact of social media on youth identity. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I recently came across this reel on Instagram. The person in the reel posed a question which went something like this. If you were to pull away all layers of your identity, your job, your gender, your hobbies, your affiliations, how would you describe your core self? I found this question very difficult to answer. Honestly, I don't think I even have an answer yet. But as I was pondering over this, it struck me just how many different identities we have. For instance, I am a lawyer, a woman, an ex-CNMite. I am from Mumbai. I have my own set of opinions. My identity collectively includes all this and other, more nuanced facets too. I think it is important to engage with the idea of identity because that is how we find the right words and concepts to define ourselves, especially so in our youth. As teenagers and young adults, we are impressionable and in constant search of our identity. This is a critical phase of life where we are eager to explore questions such as, who are we? Who do we want to be? Who will we become? This is also the time period when we are forming our own opinions and our views on just about everything in the world. For instance, politics, society, culture, you name it. Till this time, our opinions are largely the product of our upbringing and immediate surroundings. We are aligned with the perspectives of our family and friends with usually very little to disagree on. However, things get trickier when social media comes into the picture. Navigating life as a teenager, the process of crystallizing the way we see the world around us and developing our own opinions becomes complicated online. Now, I am aware that identity and its interface with social media is a vast concept. Today, in the interest of time, I will limit it to one facet of our identities, our opinions, and the way we, as youth, form them in the age of social media. I would like to share some of my personal experiences in this regard, and I hope that helps you. I started using social media when I was about 15 years old, almost 10 years ago. Wow. Things were a lot different back then. For starters, I don't think I was very aware of what was going on around me and was certainly not as sensitive to or sensitized about the realities of life. I practically lived in a bubble, was very sheltered, and was quite content with it too. I remember being absolutely thrilled to find people online who shared my nerdy interests and hobbies. Like-minded individuals passionate about dystopian young adult novels, boy band pop music, and fan fiction. I know. I could spend hours reading Facebook and Tumblr posts about books and music and whatnot, and actively sought such content out. Now, you're all aware of how social media algorithms work, right? You watch one kind of content and they keep showing you more and more and more of it. So naturally, this is exactly the kind of content I kept seeing, and as you can imagine, the fangirl in me was utterly overjoyed. But see, this is still okay as long as it is about pop music and fantasy literature. However, this started happening for other more sensitive and consequential issues with an impact on real life too. Since I followed my family, friends, and relatives on social media, I was largely exposed to their views and takes on popular issues and events occurring at the time. Like I said, I was not very aware enough to be able to apply my own mind to it or to consider whether or not I actually agreed with these things. In these circumstances, I kept seeing one kind of view online, which kept reaffirming my belief in it. It took my going to law school, away from home, for me to realize what had been happening. As lawyers, we are trained to think critically and to question things, to not take them at face value. In law school, I also had the privilege to be surrounded by and to interact with a diverse set of people from across the country with distinct lived experiences and stories to share. I admit it was quite disorienting at first, but eventually it helped me see how I had been stuck in an echo chamber of sorts. Now, an echo chamber on social media is a situation where one experiences only such interactions or content that aligns with their existing views, thus further reinforcing them. Any conflicting information or opinions are usually eliminated. This realization prompted me to consciously interact in real life with peers with different experiences and views and challenge my existing opinions in the process. I found myself questioning my initial viewpoints. I believe all of this played a huge role in my opinion formation process, helped crystallize the way I saw the world around me, and shaped my worldview. I became more aware and conscious of what was happening in our society. I learned how to handle disagreements and how to consider an issue from a variety of angles. Eventually, this influenced my social media habits too. I became more aware of the kinds of content I was consuming and learned to question the legitimacy of the sources. I purposely sought out content that contained views different from mine, so that I could get a complete picture instead of a single-sided one. With this constant barrage of information and content on social media these days, and given our perpetual presence online, I also realized how little time and opportunity we got to actually sit back and ponder over what we were reading and seeing. The situation as regards social media usage now is quite different than it was a decade ago. Teenagers are more sensitive and aware about social media usage and the risks associated with it, unlike me, who was completely clueless. It is difficult to remain ignorant about the key issues and events occurring in the world around us. At the same time, it is no secret that misinformation campaigns and fake news are rampant these days. We are living in a world where every topic is hotly debated, and you are expected to have an opinion on everything. Social media influencers have a major role to play today and have gathered immense clout, which can be used to popularize certain kinds of views and opinions. In such times, especially as the generation who has been online practically since childhood, there is even greater responsibility on us to be circumspect about the kind of content we consume. Now, we all know that social media is here to stay. It will be a force for the positive and the negative. It is natural and honestly quite easy to be influenced by what we see online. However, it is important to remember that our opinions and their online expressions can very well have a lasting impact on our lives, identities, and the way we choose to see the world around us. So, it is important to remain judicious in our social media habits. And I am still learning. Social media usage is confusing as it is, even without all this talk of identity and opinions. There are a few things that I try to remind myself of while using social media. I would like to share some of these with you. Number one, on social media, it is easy to see the world the way you want to see it, instead of how it actually is. Therefore, it is our responsibility to consciously expose ourselves to diverse views and opinions, to be able to formulate our own independent thoughts without being swayed by a one-sided narrative. Number two, be more open-minded. It is important to remain flexible in our views. We should be able to accommodate views that don't align with our own without being dismissive of them from the get-go. Number three, step out of your comfort zone. Look for opportunities to meet people, in real life, not online, with different experiences and interact with them. This will also serve as a good opportunity to learn how to handle disagreements maturely instead of resorting to trolling online. Have conversations that may make you uncomfortable simply because it is a viewpoint that you have not encountered before. And number four, don't hesitate to question. Please take all content that you see on social media with a pinch of salt. More often than not, there are other sides to the story, and not all information is accurate. It helps to step back and consider what is being said instead of rushing in to take it as gospel truth. Now, I'm pretty sure you all must be thinking, this girl is trying to be a social media influencer herself. Top 4 tips to successfully navigate your social media landscape. But no, I am not. I only hope that my experiences can help you reflect on your social media usage. But yes, don't simply take my word for it. Think it over, look for other diverse points of view, carefully consider them, and then form your own opinion about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ananya. That was thought-provoking indeed. Who's the third speaker of the day, Arjun?
Well, Master Jash Modi is the next speaker, who's a standard 10 student of our school. He is a member of the Wild Roots India and has participated in projects that were carried out in CNM school. He has created unanimous consciousness among students to understand climate conservation in its original. He has initiated the conservation of electrical energy in every classroom, saving electrical energy for 60 minutes every week, grade wise. He has actively participated in the first Youth Climate Conservation Fellowship Program, a national conference held by Wild Roots India in Pake Tiger Reserve 2022. He has also represented CNM School in an international conference held by Green Schools Alliance and US Fisheries and Wildlife Services in West Virginia, USA from 8 to 15 July 2023. He will be speaking on the topic Consumerism Unveiled, Decoding Marketing Strategies, Targeting the Young Generation and its Impact on the Youth. Over to you, Master Josh.
Thank you. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Josh Modi, a 10th grade student from Chhatrapati Nursi Memorial School. And my topic for today is Consumerism Unveiled, Decoding Marketing Strategies Targeting the Youth. Now, what is consumerism? First of all, it is the promotion and protection of interests of consumers. In simpler terms, it is the idea by the virtue of which people in society buy and use a lot of goods and services. It is the culture of constantly acquiring and wanting things driven by factors like marketing. Consumerism and demand are related but not similar concepts. While consumerism can contribute to demand, demand itself is a more specific economic term tied to the willingness and ability to purchase. Consumerism is related to influencing the target audience to become prospective buyers of the product. But now the main question arises, how do these companies consolidate their control over the young generation? The next few minutes, I will be speaking on this topic which rests on 4 pillars. How is consumerism brought about? Why do these companies influence the youth? The way they do it and the benefit they get out of it. So how is consumerism brought about? By creating mind-boggling products and inviting innovations every single time. Or by coming up with remarkable marketing strategies that leave the buyers with no chance of gainsaying that the product is a vivid experience in itself. Good marketing makes the user feel smart because good marketing makes the company look smart. Some of the things we buy them for what they buy us access to. Similarly, nothing in this world is extraordinary or perfect unless affected by circumstances. In the same way, no company's product or commodity can be successful unless it is effectively and smartly marketed. At its core, marketing is that strategic engine that propels a brand into the collective consciousness of its audience. Moving on to the next question, why do these companies target the youth? Let me start with an example. All of us out here must be aware of the famous "Sell me this pen" attribute from the movie Wolf of Wall Street. So a smart salesperson or a diligent company in this case knows well how to handle this fast developing young generation. Let's have a look out here. In case of a non-professional salesperson, he would literally start selling this pen. Oh, it's an amazing pen for professionals, it has the best value for its money, etc., etc. But the most rational way a salesman could do the same is by asking questions to the expender himself. How long have you been in the market searching for this pen? Which pen do you suitably write with? Well, this is how companies nicely, subtly influence the youth's subconscious and build authority and trust with their procurers. Some of the things we buy them for what they buy us access to. India has the largest youth population. The young age criteria is roughly 15 to 25 years old, and majority of these young people do have a smartphone. Companies target the areas where the youth's attention is the most focused. How many among us do not have a smartphone? Exactly. Nearly none. So where do you think these companies are going to sell their products and market them? The handset, the mobile phone. Coming on to the next question, the way these companies do it. So there are many companies that market and advertise in such a way that the viewers don't even get an idea that they are trying to sell them a product. They become successful in influencing our subconscious and drawing our attention towards their products. Many young people spend majority of their leisure time watching movies, listening to music, playing video games, and mainly on social media. All of these apps and websites do have a space for marketing. And this is how these apps can get revenue. So the companies market on online television platforms, online music stations, and mainly on social media. Most of the young people like clinging onto their phones more than anything else. And by showing their products in these areas, the companies exploit the situation to their advantage. By showing their masterpieces online, the companies become successful in luring the youth to just have a look at their advertisement while they are just surfing online or playing games. There are many companies which use excessive and prolonged marketing as a tool to upgrade their subscription. Most of us either buy those products or instead upgrade a subscription to get rid of those poking advertisements. There are many companies that use another tool named character marketing. Sports companies sponsor well-known athletes to bring their companies into limelight and then invite their fans to buy those articles. People end up buying those products, and this is when the social status and the friends circle comes into play. In order to match up to their peers' attires, people end up buying products way beyond their reach and end up being enraptured by these companies. Same goes with online video games, which introduce new real-life superstar characters in their games and attract the youth not only to play those games, but also to spend real money to buy new fonts and characters. Manufacturers design products in such a way that they don't last long. They last good as long as the current trend is still running. So the companies propel the young people to buy new products which the companies release every single year. And this keeps the youth engaged. For example, mobile phones have a lifespan of about 5 to 6 years, and they start releasing harmful radiations after that. Coming on to the next question, the benefit these companies get out of it. There are many applications and websites online that provide service without charging any money. But do you think it's actually free? When companies fail to sell their products, they make their consumers their products. Here's how. When we sign into a search engine, for example, we sign in with our name, email address, mobile phone number, etc. And then we can access all of its features like watching videos or searching for any information. But first, we got to sign in, and then all of its features are free. But at what cost? How many of you have received emails and numbers or calls from random companies trying to advertising their products? Many of us do. And do you think we have actually given our details directly to them? No. So when we sign into these search engines, our details get sold at a certain monetary value to these random companies. So nothing in this world is free, my friends. And lastly, consumerism unveiled. Consumerism has reached its greatest height today. I am thinking to visit Leh Ladakh next week, and while I was thinking over on the same, I was lying on my bed last night, and today morning, my phone gets filled with notifications of flight ticket options, railway ticket options to Leh Ladakh. This is consumerism. While I was thinking about the same, I must have accidentally searched about the state or the city on my phone or any app or any website, and this gets recorded as a digital footprint. Companies track these digital footprints down and present before their consumers with suitable options even before they can search for it. Well, this is indeed a great technological achievement, but I do fear sometimes that in the future, we may think the way these companies want us to think. I guess that was all the time that I had. Thank you for being such a great audience.
Whoa, that was truly commendable. Janya, weren't all the three speakers so amazing?
Yes, indeed. But don't we all need some time to think it over?
Well, it's a 10-minute break time now. Please help yourselves to the refreshments served outside the auditorium. Our volunteers will guide you for the same. A bell will be rung a few minutes before the event resumes. Kindly make sure you all are back on your seats by then.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Please be seated. We now present Sumedh Sir, a guitar instructor from CNM School. He is a Trinity Grade 8 guitarist who has been playing for the past 15 years. Sir will play a few popular tunes to refresh your minds. Please do sing along.
Is that The Believer by Imagine Dragons? Come on, everybody, sing along. And it's our personal favorite, Give Me Some Sunshine. The one and only Eli, everybody. Come on, everybody, join along. A huge round of applause for So. Thank you, So. That was divine and soothing indeed.
Thank you.
We have two more wonderful speakers with us present today. Janya, why don't you tell us more about our next speaker?
Meet Dr. Bhavya Patwa, a former student of CNM School, a dedicated orthopedic resident at Bombay Hospital. Dr. Bhavya volunteered for the measles outbreak in Mumbai in 2022. Venturing into the heart of Govandi, Dharavi, and the Indranagar slums in K West Ward, he worked alongside ASHA workers as an integral part of their ground team, contributing to the mass vaccination. Serving as the joint director for the Mumbai division of All India Medical Students Association, he orchestrated health checkups for school children, advocating for preventative health care from a young age. Dr. Bhavya is a member of the RCC Met team for Dadar Beach Cleanup with the Beach Please initiative. His involvement with MSAI has spread awareness about menstrual hygiene and cervical cancer. He has also volunteered with AISEC, actively participating in the world's largest lesson for UN SDGs across the city. Dr. Bhavya has been a distinguished panelist at international medical conferences such as Trinity every year since 2018. Dr. Bhavya will speak on the topic, Navigating the Digital Landscape, the Impact of Social Media on Youth Identity. The stage is all yours, Doctor.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Today, in the world where cat videos reign supreme and hashtags hold the key to popularity, we are in a world where the pen may be mightier than the sword, but a witty status update or caption is the mightiest of them all. Good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Bhavya Patwa, an orthopedic resident at Bombay Hospital, would love to share my views on the impact of social media in shaping youth identity. Firstly, as always, I would like to talk about the positives. Social media platforms provide a stage for young individuals to share their ideas, thoughts, and emotions. This ability to present oneself increases confidence and awareness. As individuals learn to celebrate and embrace their true selves in this online friendly environment. Second, youth today has the ability and opportunity to interact with peers from across the city to all across the globe. When I was working in the COVID war room in the heart and midst of the pandemic, there was a time when the patient load was a lot, resources were limited. But it was young individuals like you and me working with NGOs and institutions helping arrange beds, oxygen cylinders, medicines, and whatnot, all from the comfort of your houses thanks to social media. Online communities offer a sense of belonging and fosters a supportive network. I have seen adolescent kids on the spectrum who are active on social media do much better than those who are not. This is simply because they find communicating on social media easier than real world communication, which they are naturally not that good at. Same thing holds true for youth with addiction problems. The positive reinforcement and encouragement received through social media interactions helps to develop self-esteem, mental resilience, and self-consciousness. We as youth have the ability to access tutorials, webinars like this TEDx talk online, and education, helping in our intellectual growth and skill acquisition. Education now has been completely shouldered by social media and technology, especially post the pandemic. Although worrisome rise of young Google doctors is seen by me, I'm just happy to see the amount of knowledge that you all have on the palm of your hands. Social media also acts as a powerful tool for amplifying diverse voices and promoting inclusivity. Just for once today, when you go home, try to discuss one topic with a person having opposing views. Be it as trivial as who is better, Messi or Ronaldo, Virat or Sharma, whatever. Just try it. This will not only help you to broaden your mindset, but also make you calmer and help you to make informed decisions and judgments later on in life. I too have had many such encounters, especially during the measles vaccination era, where I had to encounter anti-vaxxers. I listened to them. I tried to understand their side of the story. Then I could put my points across better and finally convince them to vaccinate their kids. But as we all know, all that glitter is not gold. Just as the positive sides, the negative impact of social media cannot be overlooked. One of the most important problem and impact of social media is the distortion of self-image. जो दिखता है, वो बिकता है. What is seen is sold. Unfortunately, that has become the goal statement for everyone our age. The culture of posting meticulously curated content online has led to an increase in the unrealistic beauty demands and lifestyle expectations. And constant exposure to this develops a sense of inadequacy and lowers our self-esteem. This also leads to body dissatisfaction, unhealthy diet habits, and at extreme cases leads to bulimia and anorexia. I have many plastic surgeons and dermatologist friends who tell me that young patients aged 18 to 24 constantly want to go under the knife or try skincare practices and still feel unsatisfied after going through this all. This signifies the rise of the body dysmorphic disorder. Not just beauty, physical health also takes a toll. Excessive usage can lead to eye strain and digital eye. But I'm surprised many of us are so happy to get prescribed with glasses. We want to try new frames, new lens colors, and whatnot. While on the other hand, there are others too. Oh, doc, I want to get rid of these glasses. Just help me with the LASIK surgery, please. It's a funny world out there. The bad posture and constant hunching over while using your online devices has caused a lot of neck and spine problems. Good for me as an orthopedician, but not otherwise. And this is amplified by y'all sharing memes on the same and celebrating it. The attention span of youth has also decreased to less than a minute. There are many patients landing up in casualty because they could not see a bike or a car. They are constantly exposed to short attention-grabbing content like reels and shorts. Young patients, while having fractures, have told me, under tremendous pain, doc, can you please put a blue-colored plaster? It will look really cool on my social media. Young individuals having ACL tears and post injuries, after getting completely fit, still want to use crutches and post online stories so that people find it cool. So that is the state of youth and social media. As we go ahead, I one day encountered a beautifully healthy guy, 16-year-old, come to my OPD. He showed me this. Doc, my finger keeps on moving like this. What should I do? I took his history. I tried to understand. I could not reach anything. Out of nowhere, it struck me to ask him, what's your, screen time? He said, doc, nothing. Just have a look. It was 20 hours. 20 out of 24 hours. What we saw was a trigger thumb. What he had was a phone bump. These are true, legitimate medical terms coming up. We take it as a joke, but it is not a joke. With the rise of social media, there is also an increase in the rise of cyberbullying. Individuals who are scared try to avoid social media for the same reason. There is an increase in anxiety and depression. In fact, there was a study which I read last night. There's a 70% increase in the rise of anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphic disorder. Social media also amplifies the FOMO phenomenon, fear of missing out, where we constantly compare ourselves to our friends. And there is a development of some sort of isolation, jealousy, and of late aggression. A road traffic survey from 2022 shows how young drivers these days are more into road rage as compared to what it was 5 years ago. Similarly, social media also exerts immense pressure on all of us to conform to popular demand and opinion just to stay relevant. I have many friends who used to dislike Taylor Swift, but now are full-blown Swifties. I have young football enthusiasts who love Sir Alex Ferguson, but have not even watched one Manchester United match. This is the sad state of our youth. So, how do we navigate through all of this? Empowering the youth with digital literacy is most important. Learn to value authenticity over perfection. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is a must in this digital age. So how do we do that? Number one, know why you are on social media at that current moment. Second, know when to disconnect. Third, see how to disconnect. Learn to differentiate the truth from the false, and learn when you're trapped in the algorithmic echo chambers, as my previous speaker rightly mentioned. All in all, my friends, what we see on social media is what people want us to see. It's not their hardship, it's the highlights. It's their achievements and not their struggles. My friends, use social media to express. Don't use it to impress. Thank you. You all have been patient listeners, especially after the break session. It was lovely to talking to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Please do be generous with your applause.
The last speaker of the day is Miss Sanvi Chogle. Let me tell you something about her. Sanvi is a class 10 student of CNM school and a promising one too. Her accolades and awards are as follows. Winner of Times of India Student of the Year Award 2023, winner of Inter-School Poetry Writing Competition in 2022 and 2023, first runner-up in Panache 2022 Inter-School Declamation Competition. Sanvi represented CNM School at the SDG Fest 2022 on the theme of Sustainable Innovation Challenge. She also participated in the Inter-School Hindi Elocution Competition and the Inter-School Marathi Elocution Competition Vivek Utsav 2022, along with Inter-School Creative Writing Competition 2019. Ms. Sanvi will speak on a topic, consumerism, its effect on the youth. Over to you, Ms. Sanvi.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone and a very good evening. My name is Sanvi Namdev Chogle. I really wish to thank TEDx Youth at CNMS, my school, and my principal for giving me this opportunity to speak here today. It's an absolute honor for me to be here. Today, my topic is consumerism and its impact on youth. Let me first give you two examples to set the context for today. Number one, when you hear that thousands of people have lined up all night in front of a store selling the latest version of a popular mobile phone, that is consumerism. And when you hear that her girl has sold her kidney to buy one of the same mobile phones, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the impact of consumerism. So let us define our topic a little bit more in detail. Consumerism, or materialism, as per economists, is the conspicuous consumption, that is, the belief that personal well-being or personal satisfaction is dependent to a very large extent on the level of consumption of material goods. Basically, the more you consume or the more you buy, the higher your level of satisfaction. Now, when we talk of consumerism, let us come to the consumers. Who are these consumers? Now, a consumer can be anyone. It can be a toddler, it can be a teenager, it can be an adult or a senior citizen. But for my topic here today, we are going to understand the consumers as the youth of our generation. How do you define youth? Youth, as per general belief, are people aged between 15 to 25. If you ask the leaders, youth are the ones on whose shoulders the future of this great country lies. But I personally believe that youth is not just a time of life or just an age. It is the state of mind of a person. It is the period, I'm not saying age, it is the period during which a person develops his self-image, develops his self-identity, interacts with the outside world, forms opinions and beliefs based on experimentation, has creativity, willpower, and the courage to dare, to experiment into uncharted territories, and in the process, he outgrows the standardized templates of living life. That is youth. But sadly and unfortunately, due to growing consumerism, today's youth is facing an identity crisis. So before I elaborate upon this further, let us go a little bit back and understand how consumerism took the center stage in our lives. So 40 years back, there was no internet. 100 years back, there was no television. And go a few hundred years back, there was no print media. Indians traditionally have always lived in close-knit joint families, with uncles, aunts, cousins, relatives, grandparents, and everybody you're related to. And that was the way life was. So when the parents were busy working or earning their livelihood, it was the grandparents who raised the children by telling them stories about India's glorious past, our great heroes, and of course, magical kings and kingdoms. But over time, we went from joint families to separated nuclear families. And from separated nuclear families, we became simply nuclear families. So what happened in the process? Grandparents were replaced by media, particularly television media, and of course the big daddy of all, internet and smartphones. Today, even a toddler possesses a gadget, and parents take pride in saying that my 3-year-old does not eat unless he watches cartoons. And of course, I'm not just going to stand here and talk about how consumerism impacted others and be the perfect little unaffected girl myself. While I myself was growing up, I found myself refusing to attend the birthday parties of my friends unless I was dressed up as my favorite cartoon character. And every 2 to 3 years, my school bag, my pencil pouch, my water bottle would change based on my new favorite character. So research shows that media, television media, does not discriminate based on age. It makes absolutely no difference whether the audience is an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old. Today, rapid developments in technology and infrastructure have drastically improved the standard of living of millennials. Today, the rise of internet and social media has led to an ease of access of information or misinformation to today's youth. As I notice around me, today's youth is bombarded with material messages which encourages this purchasing behavior. For example, the spread of pop culture has led to a rise in idol groups. And by using these popular celebrities to endorse their brands, big companies hire marketing companies to take advantage of the youth's desire to be popular. Today's youths want to be popular and the center of attraction of their group. And by possessing products manufactured by these big brands, today's youth feels that sense of achievement or that sense of accomplishment in that group. In my very own friend circle, some of my friends look down upon people wearing traditional clothing just because it is not glamorous. Youth with lower self-control are not only getting attracted, but also addicted to video gaming. Today, the video gaming industry is estimated to be at about $150 billion US, and it is luring youth to buy newer and newer versions of their games released every year, and in the process making the parents work even harder to meet the demands of the child. Today, the spread of fan culture of singers, dancers, and celebrities has led to groupism among today's youth. Today, youth is engaging in unnecessary, nasty debates online and trolling on social media, which is vitiating the tender minds of today's youth. That is what I'm talking about. Traditionally, Indian women pierce their ears or their nose, but today, girls as well as boys are piercing every part of their body other than their nose and their ears. One of my cousins has gone even a step further and pierced her tongue. Yeah, it happens, I know. And today, it is only right to say that marketing companies are seeking brand loyalties right from your cradle. So how is all this impacting our youth? As I said previously, at an age of developing their self-image, at an age of developing their self-identity, today's youth is facing a crisis of confidence or an identity crisis. Our identity is no longer defined by who we are or what we do. It has become quite directly related to what we possess. Possessing cool stuff has actually become much more important than being cool. This reminds me of a quote of Tennyson. "We are now not that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. That which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, and, if I may add, consumerism." As per a study in North America, about 20% of the youth there is overweight or obese, and by the time the students reach the 8th to the 12th grade, they have begun consuming alcohol or even smoking. And in today's globalized world, that Western narrative is affecting our youth and society as well. To sum it up, consumerism is leading to psychosomatic problems like depression, anxiety, lower self-esteem, and behavioral problems. But is technology or innovation so bad that we must stay away from it? No, absolutely not. I strongly disagree. Remember, it is the same technology that helped us in online learning during the pandemic. It is the same technology that has brought the world closer. It is the same technology that has improved our standard of living, our safety and security. And today, innovations in science have decreased mortality rates in human beings and made space tourism possible. So how do we tackle the impact of growing consumerism on today's youth? There are three main solutions, in my opinion. Number one, awareness versus ignorance. You have to be aware about how consumerism is shaping your thinking, your mood, and your physical and mental well-being. And once you're aware of it, you have to be alert of it. Number two is communication. Parents must spend time daily to talk to their child about various social and economic problems and to ensure their participation in important purchasing decisions. Assessing it based on two factors, wants and needs. Ask yourself a simple question before you purchase anything. Are you buying it because you really need it? Or are you buying it just because you want it, because somebody else has it, or it is a hip thing to have? Number three is that the parents must teach the child the importance of money, financial literacy. And similar activities can be planned in schools as well to inculcate the same. For example, a parent can inculcate the habit of saving right from a young age. My dad, for instance, has never really gifted me anything expensive or extravagant on my birthday. Instead, he has invested that money in an appreciating asset, and that's a very good beginning. Lastly, in the past 200 years, especially after the Industrial Revolution, consumerism has increased steadily. Marketing companies are thriving on the psychology of the youth and are targeting their parents indirectly. We live in a world which is evolving at a very fast pace. However, trust me when I say this, but the effects of these developments are more constructive than destructive. We have to learn to look at it from the right lens and strive to develop its strengths while being aware of its weaknesses. And by remaining grounded and respecting our cultural heritage, we can strive for the betterment of this great country and society. So today, as I take your leave, I want you to ponder. Ask one simple question to yourself. Are you what you are because of who you are or what you own? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sanvi. Your speech was an eye-opener for all of us. Can we please have a big round of applause for Ms. Sanvi?
We now request all our esteemed speakers to come up on the stage, requesting our trustee, Shri Kirit Bhai, our Vice Principal, Ms. Aditi Vazandar, Primary Coordinator, Ms. Alka Tandon, and Pre-Primary Coordinator, Ms. Asha, to felicitate our speakers for the day. Ms. Latisha Bagadia,
Ms. Ananya Patwardhan,
Master Jash Modi,
Dr. Bhavya Patwa,
and Ms. Sanvi Chogle.
I take this opportunity to thank the management of CNM School, our principal, our vice principal, trustees, speakers, CNM admin staff, NMMS staff, teachers, and the Standard 11 student volunteers for their valuable contribution in making this event a grand success. Our heartfelt gratitude to all the guest teachers and students for spending your precious time with us today. We hope that this was a learning experience for all of you. On this note, I, Arjun Basu,
And I, Janya Chadda,
take your leave for the day, hoping that we all shall meet someday, somewhere, in an event like this. Bye till then, God bless. Requesting everyone to stand up for the national anthem. Let us all sing together. Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Thank you everyone. Wishing you all a great evening ahead. Kindly follow the directions given by the volunteers.